Hey, good morning, traders. This is Chris here in Hawaii, doing your London close analysis for the 17th of April, 2020. Thanks for joining me today. Actually, quite a bit to cover in today's session, so it could be exciting. Friday is a particularly good day, I think, for London close trading. So a lot of desks are clearing out their position, so that really bodes well, I think, for us. So anyway, kind of getting into today's news, what's going on. U.S. dollar trades mixed to weaker. It was really an up and down session for the most part for, um, uh, trading in terms of technicals as the market's trying to digest what's going on. Um, There is treatment optimism on a new drug. Gilead's remdesivir is showing some real promise in treating people with coronavirus. So that was seen as optimism. Also, the fact that the U.S. Trump announced that states are going to start opening up, and there was a three-tier system. That boded well. I think within a couple hours of him mentioning that, some gyms in Utah opened up because gyms were part of the phase one to open up the gyms to keep people healthy. So that was really, really encouraging. Canadian dollar, minor gains, was up and down last night. Today it's kind of back down to the lows before the Euro session, for the London session. The Euro is underperforms. The markets aren't really convinced of unity among the Eurozone countries. Germany's kind of doing its own thing. Spain's doing something different. Italy's doing something different. So, not really sure. Market's not really sure if the Eurozone has their act together. Pound is lagging. There was some early week positive with Boris recovering from coronavirus, but that surge is all but gone. The yen is interesting. It's steady at the high 107s with the U.S., despite the market mood, which is pretty optimistic today. But I would anticipate that to drop for most of the other pairs. It already did for the Aussie, the Kiwi, the CAD. So the risk appetite is definitely on. Aussie's a little bit weaker than the Kiwi, though. China data was a little off for yesterday. So that's kind of what's going on in terms of the market for today. I haven't even taken a look. Let's see what we're looking at today. The Dow is up 400 points. The VIX is down, which is good. Oil is actually down to 1842. One piece of data that's, I think, propping the CAD up right now. There is weak economic data demand concerns, but Saudi Arabia and Russia came out with a statement yesterday that they would do whatever it took to get oil stabilized. So that is a far change from what they've been saying before, where it was generally a war for them, but they're working together. I don't think either anticipated oil to go this low. So, I mean, everyone's locked down though, so no one's using oil right now. So that's what's going on in the markets today. Trade-wise, this is an interesting trade I wanted to share with you guys from yesterday that ended up working out for us. So if you guys remember, we did a Kiwi US dollar trade into the London close here. I mentioned it would break this level, and we went in at we got in at 40. We had a stop at 30, and you see this little wick right here, and how this is something I talked about, I think, a few days ago, where you want to have a soft stop. And what I usually do when I have a stop is my stop is if the candle closes below the stop, because this is what happens a lot in the markets. Okay. And for me, it's worth the extra few pips, especially at the London close, to see if it actually closes at that level. That's why I use a 30-minute chart as opposed to the 5 or the 15, because I think anything below 30 is a little too volatile and can go in either direction. It's not really as predictable. But if if that bar closes on a 30-minute chart, to me, that tells me there's more to go. So we actually stayed in this sucker, and this wick, this candle right here, gave me a lot more confidence in the trade too. So I was really determined to hold it after that. And you can see, I mean, it went all the way up to profit. So it was a nice 4-to-1 reward to risk gain yesterday. And, you know, you always want to put a stop. But what I'll usually do is I'll put my stop I'll put my hard stop, like the actual order, at the same 4-to-4 ratio, because usually at the London close, a 30-minute bar is not going to travel that far in one bar. Okay, so worst case scenario, you get knocked out at a 1-to-1 risk, but I have a stop, and to me, that this was my level, and if it would have closed below that level, I would have gotten out. So that's something that I've learned over the years in the markets is. And I'm telling you, like, for every one time I get stopped out by one bar, I'll probably not get stopped out 20 times. So it's definitely worth it. And it's just something you have to learn as you kind of go into these markets here. So, like I said, it was a really good trade yesterday. But the trade I want to look at today is the Euro CAD. So Euro is not particularly strong. And there's a level right here that I really like. So to me, this is worth holding over the weekend because the only news that could be coming out would be something with Saudi Arabia and Russia, which is positive. I generally don't want to hold it if I don't have to, but also the swaps are really good too. So this is the level that I would probably hold it up here against. And I'm looking for a much deeper retrace on this. So we're probably going to get in here. And let's go to a little bit of a larger chart here just to see. I'd like to target down in here, like maybe this 5170, maybe even 5130. These former lows. Let's take a look and see where the volume is for this. I believe it's right here. No. Right here. There's a ton of volume here, but you can see the spike right here. So I'd probably go 5181, and I'd probably get out if it tops 53 today, because you see this wick here rejected the price. So I really like this trade. I think we can target 5183 with a stop there. So let's do a short position. Let's say we're going to go here. And once again, our stop will be, does it close above the level? Okay. And we're going to target right down there. So we're looking at a 3.32 reward to risk. That's what we like. We're going to enter a market order right now. All right. Perfect. So this is the trade for today. I'll be curious what it does when it gets down to here. If it rejects it pretty strongly, maybe I'll close out for the weekend. But the swaps are actually pretty good on this trade because it's a short euro. So once again, when you analyze the reward to risk and all things considered, I like this trade for a hold over the weekend if we need to hold. So that's what we're going to do for today. And let's see how the trade plays out. I mean, this thing could hit, on Friday as people close out their desks. I mean, I don't think that the big desks are going to want to hold this over the weekend if they're long. I see a lot of downside to this. So that's what we have right now. Let's see how this thing plays out. I'm in, and we'll see how it goes. The only thing I want to talk about today was just the announcement yesterday with the U.S. So there's some optimism here. Finally, you can kind of see some light at the end of the tunnel. They had a three-phase approach, but I think this remdesivir is really encouraging here in terms of us, getting past this. If there's something to treat coronavirus, that's going to make all the difference in the world. This becomes a thing that can kill people to, like the flu, that if you get sick, it's treatable. So if it's treatable, I think things are going to go back to relative normalcy here. I don't know where you guys are at, but unemployment rate here in Hawaii is at 37%. So almost half the workforce is unemployed, and the governor has said that they're going to slash $1.5 billion in the budget to balance the budget. That's huge. Just Hawaii, it's all a tourism economy. So we're not getting any tourists. I mean, Waikiki is completely shut down. So I know that impact is relatively similar in most places in the country. I mean, not tourism necessarily, but if everything's shut down, I mean, no one's making money. So hopefully your economies are doing okay. I know Nick in Austria, they're opening up over there, so that's encouraging. And I think it's time. I mean, people are starting to protest here in the U.S. They're just tired of being locked down. It's so funny. Whenever we're working, people are out throughout the day. All they want to do is come home and stay home and relax. And now that they're home all the time, all they want to do is go out. It's pretty interesting. But I'm looking forward to getting some sports going here. Like, as the international community here calls it football. That would be interesting to watch. And then I love basketball, so interested to see basketball get going here. But it's important, I think, to maintain a healthy routine. And in terms of trading, when we kind of get back to that, a routine is critical. As you guys see, I'm up at 4:30 a.m. here every day. In the wintertime, it's 5:30 because we don't change our clocks. But I like this time frame. It gives you a good repeatable process to follow, and as long as you keep that reward to risk similar, it's a good way to trade, and you can make money here because really, if you're looking at least 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, I mean, you only have to win one out of every 3 times, and you're profitable. But generally, it's a little bit more predictable at the London close, so you tend to win more than 1 out of 3 times. So let's keep this trade on, and I'll be monitoring it, and I'll be chatting if you have any questions. So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we can end up in some pips here. Right? Have a great day.